The mail arrived at 4 p.m., a crisp white envelope from the bank. I ripped the top edge. The paper smelled like industrial ink and ozone. Monthly statement. Balance, $50,000. Interest earned, $2.91. Annual yield, 0.07%. I traced the zero with my thumbnail. A perfect empty circle. Now it's 8 p.m. dinner table. The heavy scent of roasted garlic hangs in the air. Cabernet sloshes in oversized glasses. Mark sits across from me. He leans in, elbows resting on the mahogany, waving a fork. You gotta put your money to work, man. Leaving it in checking is just financial suicide. The inflation tax is eating you alive. He takes a bite, chews, swallows. I nod. I cut my steak. The serrated knife scrapes the ceramic plate. A high, sharp sound that makes my back teeth ache. My left hand rests under the table. The phone screen glows faintly against my thigh. Face ID unlocks. The banking app refreshes. $50,000. Just sitting there. Unmoving, a digital paperweight. Sarah chimes in from the end of the table. Exactly. Even a basic high-yield savings account is paying 4-5% right now. It's literally free money. I press the power button on my phone. The screen goes black. I slide the device deep into my pocket. The rough denim rubs against my damp palm. I pick up my water glass. The condensation drips onto my wrist. I swallow a piece of ice. It hits my stomach cold. Everyone is trading acronyms. ETFs, HYSAs, index funds, yield curves. I built the wall. I saved the money. I skipped the vacations. I did the responsible thing. But looking around this table, they are sailing. I am chained to a very heavy, very silent anchor. The bedroom is dark. 11 p.m. The blue light from the screen casts sharp shadows on the ceiling. I pull up the balance again. $50,000. It hasn't moved. It hasn't shrunk. I drop the phone onto the mattress. It lands with a soft, muffled thud. I rub the bridge of my nose. You look at that static number and think you missed a step. You think you're just bad at this. That everyone else at that dinner table got a secret manual you never received. You didn't. You are not lazy. You are not financially illiterate. You did exactly what you were taught. You did what felt safe. You worked the overtime. You saved. You shoved the cash into the vault and locked the heavy steel door. You built a shield. The problem isn't your discipline. The problem is the terrain shifted while you were standing guard. The bank teller smiled when you deposited that money. They handed you a free pen. Cheap plastic, black ink. They wanted you to leave that money right there. The system relies on your stillness. It's an interest-free loan for them. They lend your money out to someone else at 8%. They hand you back $2.91. It's an outdated trap operating exactly as designed. The instinct to hoard cash isn't stupid. It's human survival. Morning, 6:30 a.m. The coffee maker groans, spitting dark, bitter liquid into a heavy ceramic mug. Steam hits my face. I take a sip. It burns the tip of my tongue. I open the laptop. The hinge creaks. I pull up the standard financial advice we all swallowed whole. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash. A big checking account is your ultimate safety net. Cash is king. I trace the words on the screen. The smooth glass under my index finger. It's the ultimate comfort blanket. The mattress stuffing instinct. You see 50 grand in checking. It says 50 grand today. It said 50 grand yesterday. It will say 50 grand tomorrow. No flashing red numbers. No market crashes to stomach. Zero visible risk. Technically true. Practically misleading. I set the mug down on the wooden table. A wet ring forms. That cash isn't a safety net. It's a block of ice sitting on a hot sidewalk. Solid right now, but invisible heat is working on it. Every trip to the grocery store. Every pump of gas. The money illusion. We focus on the ink printed on the paper, not the actual groceries that paper buys. 3% inflation. Just normal economic friction. That 50 grand? In 10 years, the purchasing power shrinks to 37,000. 13 grand evaporates. Gone. No thief, no smashed window. Just a silent mathematical bleed. You aren't protecting your wealth in that checking account. You are actively funding its slow execution. I open a blank spreadsheet. The cursor blinks. A steady black pulse against a glaring white grid. The fridge hums a low vibration in the kitchen. I type my real survival number, rent, utilities, basic groceries, the bare bones. $3,000 a month. I multiply it by 6, 18,000. I have 50,000 sitting in checking. $32,000 is just dead weight. Here is the actual plumbing of personal finance. No Wall Street jargon, just buckets. Bucket 1, the checking account, the operating capital. I type 5,000 into cell A1. That covers 1 month of survival, plus a small buffer for a flat tire or a forgotten bill. It earns nothing. I accept that. I need the debit card to swipe without declining. Bucket 2, the high-yield savings account, cell B1. 18,000. This is the layoff money, the true emergency fund. It sits exactly 1 business day away, but the mechanics change here. At 4%, that 18 grand generates over $700 a year. Free money, just for parking it in a different digital garage. Bucket 3, the surplus. Cell C1, 27,000. This goes to the market, broad index funds. The banks already know this plumbing. They take your 50 grand, keep a tiny fraction in the vault, and funnel the rest into their own buckets. They lend it out for mortgages. They charge 8%. They keep the spread. No magic tricks, just asset liability matching, matching the speed of the money to the speed of the emergency. You don't need instant access to $50,000. You just need the plumbing connected right. Gemini John Noi Tuesday, Haigyo Chio. The office AC rattles behind the drywall. A thin layer of dust coats the fake fern in the corner. I slide a manila folder across the laminate desk. The paper scrapes. David sits across from me. He crosses his arms. His knuckles are pale. He's 34, a middle school science teacher. His wife is a nurse. They brought in 80 grand last year. He points to the top line of the printout, $60,000, sitting in a standard checking account, just like mine was. It's for emergencies, he says. He clears his throat, a dry scraping sound. I uncap my pen. The plastic lid snaps against the barrel. I draw a thick black line right through the 60. We ran his survival number. Mortgage, groceries, utilities, $4,000 a month. Since they both have stable, dual-income jobs, they only need 3 months of absolute runway. $12,000. I slide the paper back. He leaves his hands in his lap. He doesn't touch it. We left 6 grand in his checking, 1 month of operating capital plus a buffer. We moved 12 grand to a high-yield savings account, the true emergency shield. The remaining 42 grand? He was paralyzed. He stared at the floor, terrified of a market crash. I didn't push. We just built the machine. We set up an automatic transfer, $7,000 a month for 6 months, bleeding slowly into a simple S&P 500 index fund. He didn't have to push a button. He didn't have to watch the screen. That was 5 years ago. I saw him last week. We met at the diner on 4th Street. The espresso machine hissed. He smelled like rain and roasted beans. He unlocked his phone. He slid it across the sticky table. Checking $6,500. HYSA, $14,800. Investment account, $67,200. He didn't hit a lottery. He didn't pick a secret tech stock. He just fixed the plumbing. He stopped funding his own slow execution. Thursday night, 9 p.m. The kitchen table is cold under my forearms. A single overhead bulb buzzes. A moth taps against the glass shade. Tap, tap. I rip a sheet of yellow legal paper from the pad. The tear is loud, jagged. I write down step 1. 1 month of bare-bones survival. Rent, food, power, $3,000. I circle it twice. The black ink bleeds through the thin paper. That stays in the checking account. The buffer. The shock absorber. Next line. Step 2. 3 to 6 months of backup, $9,000. I draw a thick arrow pointing to the right edge of the page. That moves to the high-yield savings account. It gets promoted. The bottom line. Step 3. The massive surplus. I underline it. The pen tip catches and tears the yellow fiber. That gets automated to the brokerage. People freeze here. They stare at the giant pile of cash and try to move it all at once. They try to pick stocks. Time the market. Panic. Stop. Volume doesn't matter yet. Order does. 1 bucket fills. It spills into the next, then the next. Order creates momentum. You don't jump to step 3 while step 1 is a mess. Friday morning, 7:15 a.m. The subway platform smells like ozone and stale pretzels. The tracks click. A low rumble vibrates through the concrete right into the soles of my boots. I pull my coat collar up. The damp wind bites my neck. I pull out my phone. The calendar app glows in the dim station light. I swipe forward. 1 month, two, three, 90 days. People think wealth takes 40 years of grinding misery. They think if they didn't start at 22, the math is permanently broken. They assume they missed the boat. It's a lie. 90 days, that's exactly how long it takes to stop the bleeding. To open the new accounts, to type in the routing numbers, to watch that first automated transfer clear the checking account and land safely in the high-yield savings. The train's headlights pierce the black tunnel. A rush of warm, metallic air hits my face. You don't need decades to fix the foundation. You just need one season to build the machine. A 20-year head start with a leaking bucket always loses to a 10-year sprint with sealed plumbing. Starting correctly beats starting early. The silver doors slide open. A sharp two-tone chime echoes. I step inside.